Have you noticed that the economic unusual has become the usual? The abnormal is becoming the normal, and the tried and true of investing has become untrue. Hello, I'm Dr. Shelby Smith of the Retirement Pros, and today my topic is, when will the next big one arrive? Economic cycles are a way of life. They are sometimes triggered by something else, failure of the S&L industry, runaway stock buying like the dot-com craze, the 9/11 tragedy, Ponzi schemes, or natural calamities like hurricanes, earthquakes, floods. After every economic or financial crisis, we get a rash of new government regulations and watchdog agencies to make sure this never happens again. But have you noticed? It always does happen again. After the Enron, WorldCom, and other corporate scandals, new legislation was put in place to prevent corporate fraud and cheating. Then what happened? The housing bubble, based on fraud and greed, killed Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, and injured countless other blue-chip companies. It's folly to say there won't be another big one. When least expected, it will arrive. Economic history points to a pattern. From the Dutch tulip bubble of 1637, the Mississippi bubble, 1720, right down to the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, and the housing bubble that gave us the Great Recession. The abnormal seems to be happening more frequently. After a while, the watchdog agencies created to prevent the next big one doze, become friendly with those they're supposed to be watching, go lax, and stop enforcing. The bubble begins to build and then explodes in economic mayhem. What wasn't supposed to happen happens again. We won't know when, how severe, the cause, or the ultimate effect, but be assured the next big one is on the way. The experts who profess to know either don't know or they don't know. Remember this the next time you see a talking head telling more than they know about the markets, investments, or what's going to happen next. The next big one could be forming. It could arrive at any time. So what can we do? First, let's take inventory of where our money is now invested. It can only be in one of two places: the world of safety or the world of risk. I know it's sometimes hard, especially for the untrained, to know what is risky and what is not. So let me give you the simple but immutable law of investing. Risk and reward travel together. What does this mean? It means if the promised rate of return is high by current standards, your risk is also high. For example, lots of people are now putting retirement money in high-yield bonds because these bonds pay 6 to 8% annually. Tempting because safe money places like bank CDs pay a fraction of these bond rates. High-yield bonds have another name, folks: junk bonds. You can buy high-yield bond mutual funds, high-yield but lowly rated individual bonds, and other things paying higher rates. But remember, risk and reward travel together. There are no exceptions, regardless of what you were told or shown. Your money is at risk or in the risky world if the value can go down when the market falls, when real estate prices drop, the weather changes, or countless other things that can affect prices. So ask yourself, under what circumstances can my investments have losses? How big can the losses be? And lastly, can I afford the losses? A countless number of things have happened to cause stocks, bonds, and other investments to lose value. This means there is risk. Those owning shares of Enron, BP, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Countrywide Mortgage, Washington Mutual Bank, General Motors, Chrysler's, and many, many others know that this is now the world of risk. How much can you lose? It could be 100%. Not likely, but it does happen. How much can you afford to lose? Only you can answer that question. If you have taken risk, you have to avoid the world of risk. As I said earlier, the abnormal seems to be the new normal. So hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. How about the world of safety? There aren't a lot of safe places. Banks, U.S. government bonds, fixed annuities, savings bonds, and cash. But they all have their shortcomings too. Holding cash is risky because of inflation, theft, fires, and other ways for it to be destroyed or lost. The mattress is generally not a good idea. Banks are rock solid safe, but the interest rates they now pay are almost zero. In fact, you pay the bank to keep your money because inflation is higher than the interest rates they're paying. You're losing purchasing power. You'll still pay taxes on the interest, which just compounds the problem. If in the past you counted on bank CD interest for your income, today's low rates are indeed painful. The outlook for higher rates is rather bleak. That is, if you can believe the financial pundits. Governments and other fixed-rate bonds have risk if you need to sell before they mature. Also, you'll pay taxes on your bond income. State and local governments can also default on their bonds. It has happened before, and we do live in abnormal times, so be careful. Savings bonds are a hassle to buy. There is no market for them if you need to sell, and early withdrawal means you'll pay penalties. Fixed annuities are a safe place for some of your retirement money. You can withdraw some or all of your money without penalty for emergencies. Earnings are not subject to current taxes. The principal is guaranteed if you hold it to maturity, and you can link your earnings to the market without losing if the market goes down. But the big drawbacks are: 1, annuities are generally for money you'll not use for the next 5 years or longer, and 2, if you withdraw your money early, you might be penalized. In other words, annuities are a safe place for longer-term money that you'll need later in retirement. But your short-term money you're going to need this year and next, you'll have to find another place. So what is best for you? The financial world or the other world of safety? Well, it depends on your circumstances. There may be instances where you can benefit by dividing your retirement money between these two worlds. This calls for a professional assessment. Maybe you can make that professional assessment, but most folks can't. Doing it yourself generally means costly mistakes are highly likely. So what do I think? First of all, most retirees take far more risk than they can afford. The latest market meltdown was very painful for these retirees. The reason is often because no advice was obtained. The results: trimmed down retirements, spouses left in the lurch after the first one's death, or worst of all, being wiped out when the next big one arrives. Since you ladies live longer than us men, you have the most at stake. So I encourage you to take an active interest in your family's financial affairs. In my many years of studying retirement and the worlds of risk and safety, it is obvious that most retirees can benefit from selecting and working with a financial advisor. Investment choices are complicated and confusing. The pitfalls are many, and the mistakes can be life-shattering. So get professional advice for your financial affairs, just like you do for your medical, legal, spiritual, tax, and other specialty problems that arise in your life. I know. Who can you trust? You'll need to do some research and interviewing to find an advisor that's right for you. The first step is to start the search for an advisor if you currently do not have one. How will a financial advisor know what's good for you? The same way your medical doctor does. They ask lots of questions that they expect you to answer fully and truthfully. When will the next big one arrive? We don't know. We only know it's coming, and advanced preparations are in order. You may or may not get notice, or the notice you get may be too late to prevent losses. So get prepared now for the next big one by working with your financial advisor. I'm hopeful you believe what I've told you about the next big one and its arrival. If so, buckle up, because it could be a big crash or it might only be a fender bender. Thank you for your time and your attention, and good luck with your retirement.